next week will really be the last week coaches will be out for Nebraska. They might be out through Wednesday, possibly Thursday. But, we've seen recruiting kind of take things over here in the last few days for Nebraska. And that's where we start with headline number 1, spring recruiting. And, the rules changed this year, Sip, for spring recruiting. Coaches now can meet with these prospects on campus. They can conduct visits at the schools with the parents, with the families. So it almost has a December feel right now in May. And I feel like Nebraska has attacked this differently than a lot of other schools in the sense that when there's a priority target, you can only visit them one time now. You used to be able to visit them twice in the spring. They make it a very memorable experience, a memorable visit. And we've seen that the last few weeks where these prospects that they have offered and that they're targeting will get 5 and sometimes 10 Husker coaches visiting them at one time. We saw it with all the key in-state players like Christian Jones and Chase Lofton. But this week, Nebraska was down in Texas, and they flew the private plane down to San Antonio. 5-star athlete Michael Terry got a visit from the staff. And then the coaches from there all went out all over San Antonio, met back at the plane. They flew to Dallas. They went with 4-star wide receiver Emmanuel Choice, met with him. And now here on Thursday, you're seeing Nebraska down in Kansas City in Overland Park, and they're doing a staff visit with Dawson Merrick. And Alabama, who is the other team in his final 2, they are also down there on Thursday. They came in at 6:45 a.m. to watch his workout, and I believe it was just one coach. Nebraska is going in there with 5, 6, 7 coaches. So this is the strategy. You get one crack, one spring visit with your key guys, staff up, make it memorable. And they've done a pretty good job, I think, of getting in front of some of these key guys here in the month of May.
Yeah. I mean, the one in Kansas City, Dawson Merritt, is the one to really watch right now. I mean, and partly because it's the latest one. It's today, which is Thursday.
He's down to 2.
He's down to 2. Now, so already Nebraska sort of has a victory. And there's the young man right there.
And that's from December or January. They visited him in the evaluation period because Matt Rule can't be down in Kansas City here on Thursday.
This is a linebacker, a will linebacker. Nebraska's recruiting him as a linebacker.
And his father works for the Kansas City Chiefs.
Okay. Now, Nebraska, Sean, already has a bit of a victory in that he eliminated Missouri and Oklahoma. So, I mean, now listen, that's pretty significant. Obviously, Kansas is out of the running. Kansas State's out of the running. Nebraska's positioned itself in the final 2, and that in itself is a victory. Now, you obviously want to see them close, but Nebraska being able to go into that area and stave off Missouri, stave off Oklahoma, that's a good sign. It's a good sign no matter what. And there he is.
And Kansas and Kansas State, I mean, 2 programs that have won a lot of games in the last few years.
Right. Yeah, exactly. So consensus 4-star player. Nebraska's talked to him about playing will linebacker, using him off the edge, but also, there'd be multiple roles in that scenario. So, yeah, this is a really, really interesting one to watch.
Now, our colleagues at Bama Online, I know they feel like Alabama still likes where they stand. So this is going to be an uphill battle. I mean, I think Alabama's recent history, their recent pro development in that program, it's an advantage over Nebraska. I mean, and that's where Matt Rule has to prove, hey, look what we've done in year 1. Look at some of the guys we've already developed, gotten ready to play. And it's only going to get better. But the fact that they've got Dawson Merritt on campus 3 times, and he'll make his 3rd visit to Alabama June 7th.
Yep.
Then the decision is going to come shortly after. Now, how shortly after? Could Nebraska get him back up in Lincoln another day in June? That would be a great sign. I don't know if that's a possibility or if he's just going to shut it down, as both the Tide and the Huskers will get 3 visits apiece with Dawson Merritt before he makes a decision.
Yeah, and Dawson Merritt has said he told Chad Simmons that he'll decide in June. So we'll know pretty soon on this one. And it would be, I mean, you got Jamarian Parker hanging out there. As you alluded to, this time of year, you're starting to see the big high-profile guys make their moves. So it is real. This is going to get really interesting, Sean.
And fans always want to know who are the 4-stars that they've got a chance to get in this cycle.
Yeah.
And they got their quarterback, 4-star TJ Lateef.
Right.
They're in really good shape with 4-star running back Jamarian Parker out of St. Louis. At the wide receiver position, Michael Terry can fit in that role. Manuel Choice, both 4-star guys. At tight end, Chase Lofton, a 4-star out of Millard South. Then at linebacker, Omaha West Side's Christian Jones. So those are the 4-stars, along with Merrick. I mean, they've got a lot of 4-star guys and 5-star guys that they've moved in on, and obviously Sanders, the offensive lineman that was in this past weekend, is one of the highest ranked players they've recruited in history in Nebraska. And I'll be curious what the plan is if they go down there next week and get one more visit in with him.
Mm-hmm. David Sanders.
Now, I don't know. Yeah. Cause I don't know for sure with David Sanders, the 5-star of Charlotte, if they've actually gone down there yet. You only get one visit.
Mm-hmm.
That is the real strategic thing about May now. You used to go twice and see a guy. Now you get 2 or just one. And you got to make sure it's meaningful. So will Nebraska be able to get down there one more time or get down there and see him? He's got a very busy schedule. He's got 5 official visits coming up to some of the best programs in college football: Alabama, Ohio State, Georgia, Tennessee, Clemson. Will Nebraska stay on his mind after all of that is really the question with David Sanders.
Yep. That's the biggest fish of them all. Now, people are going to wonder, Sean, how is Nebraska doing this? How are they positioning themselves for this magnitude of player? Well, the answer is it's a package that Nebraska presents. And if you think about it, the package that Nebraska presents to recruits has gotten better since Rule got here. But some of it's because the training facility's done. They have a incredibly well-functioning and gorgeous athletic training facility. They have Dylan Raiola, one of the most exciting young players in college football. They have a coach who sells everything really well. Sean, if Matt Rule wasn't a football coach, he could probably make as much money as he does now selling something. I mean, he's a incredibly verbal person. He's very dynamic as a speaker, and he sells really well. So he's selling the program.
And they've got alignment now with a collective.
There you go. Thank you.
And by the way,
thank you for remembering the collective, because that's probably the second most important thing.
The beauty of what you just did, we just watched you kind of talk out a column. Like that was a column right there.
Ooh, hello. Yeah, the package.
Like how are they getting David Sanders? Like, what are they doing? Because they don't have a lot of recent on-field results to sell.
No, but they present a nice package right now. And then the last thing would be, Sean, if they can win 8 or 9 games and get on a bit of a heater, then the package is really complete. I mean, it's a package. If I just could only say 1 or 2 things, that's not a package. But there's 5 or 6, and that's critical.
They need to take advantage of the schedule they have this year.
Oh, the Big Ten's another part of the package. They're in the maybe the most powerful conference in the country, if not it's the second most powerful. So there's 5 or 6 very critical parts of the package, and maybe that is a column. Sean,
sounds like you just walked out a Sunday column.
Yeah,
maybe a Tuesday.
Yeah, one of the two.